Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? Because it's time to put them on. Because the conversation starts now.
Sorry.
Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. This is the spot. This is the place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Today, Brains, we have Cheri Bartlett, like the pear, juicy, sweet, kind, and loves green. You see that green in her background? I have green on. I love green. Favorite color. You know, Cheri works with people to make their life easier. How do we live with ease? How do we relax? Take a breath. How do we declutter? It's always some stuff. So we're going to talk about that, how to frame it, how to make it effortless, because sometimes it takes a lot of work, and not be judgmental of those that have those problems. What is the psychological effects of stuff? You know, why do we hold on to so much stuff? Okay, good, bad, indifferent. How it affects our emotions. So I'm so glad to have you here, Cheri, because I'm in the declutter mode, honey. Your timing is perfect. Welcome to the Edge.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so tell my brains a little bit about you.
So, I was a stay-at-home mom for about 15 years, and wasn't great at what I'm doing now. I wish I'd been better, honestly. Um, and went through a pretty difficult divorce for about 3 years. And during that time, I moved, or after the divorce was final, I moved to my own home, and I actually had an organizer come and help me in my space, and it was really life-changing for me. She helped me really think about my home in a different way. And after that experience, I felt so good about it that I decided this is something I want to do for other people as well. And I kind of combined my understanding and I'm continuing to learn about the law of attraction,
Mm-hmm.
energy, and all of that, and sort of combining those two things together to create my business and help people create ease in their lives.
Well, you know, it works because I am a firm believer of your space. And if it's cluttered, you don't have room to continue to receive blessings because you got all this stuff. What is the
Absolutely.
emotional attachment to these things? Oh, you know, Aunt Martha gave me this before she died. Aunt Martha has been dead 20 years and is sitting on your shelf and is collecting dust. Does it really have a sentimental value? You know, can't you keep Aunt Martha in your heart without looking at her stuff? Uh, Women wear 20% of their clothes 80% of the time. If it doesn't fit, don't force it. Get rid of it. I just got rid of a belt and a top. I looked at it, I put it on. It didn't bring me joy. Your thing should bring you joy. Don't you agree, Cheri?
Absolutely, 100%. And people who are holding on to things from the past, it almost, if you're holding on to too much of that stuff, it's almost like you're living in the past, because you have that stuff around you all the time, and you're constant it's a constant reminder of, remember when this happened and remember when that happened. And if you're focusing on what happened in the past, then you're not looking forward to the future. What are you creating in your future if you're always looking toward the past?
Right. And dust bunnies. This stuff gets so dusty, you know, really. um, One of my family members said, I'm going to send you something from your aunt's curio cabinet. And I'm going, wow, that's exactly what I needed. You know, just another thing to not dust. What are some of the things that people should really look at and go through that bring them the most joy? Is it their clothes? Is it their pictures? Is it their, you know, jewelry? What are some of the things that people should maybe hold on to?
Yeah, I think definitely clothes is a big one, because we get dressed every day, right?
Hmm.
And depending on what your life looks like, maybe you're a person that works 9 to 5, or maybe you're more of an entrepreneur like me. Some days I'm in very comfy clothes.
Right.
Yeah, and other days I get dressed up a little bit nicer. But the thing is, you want to have clothes in your closet that when you put them on, you feel good. You like the way it looks. It's comfortable. It's flattering to your figure. All of those things. I think we all have pulled things. I have done this before. Pulled out a dress out of my closet, tried it on, said, "Ooh, I don't really like that." I put it back on the hanger and I put it back in the closet. Why did I do that? Don't put it back in your closet. You're just going to go through that same routine again. So just be cognizant of that, and really take the time to go through everything in your closet. That's the pushback that sometimes I get from people, when I say, let's just take everything out of your closet and go through every item. And they're like, oh,
They do.
but
Things just don't fit. They don't look. You know what? It wasn't cute when you bought it. It was impulse buying. What do you say to that person, Cheri, that is an impulse buyer? See, I got over that. I would go into a store and I would get two or three things and I'd try it on. And if I didn't absolutely love it, I wouldn't buy it. And even before I bought it, I'd walk around and have it in the cart, two or three things, and look at it again, because you want cost per wear. You want value. That could be anything. That could be a vase. That could be, flowers. But you want to have some sort of uh, something that's substantial when it comes to the things that are around you. Would you agree?
absolutely. And I think that the place where people kind of make a mistake a little bit is they're not coming from this perspective of, what do I want my space to look and feel like, and what would make me feel really good in this space?
Mm-hmm.
And then from that point, go shop and look for the things, instead of just going in the store and walking around and picking up things and putting it in your cart and then taking it home and trying to make it fit somehow. But if you come at it from the perspective of, before you go shopping, before you create something new in your space, what do I want this to look like? Write it down, visualize it, spend some time with that idea before you start decorating and creating the space the way you want it.
Girl, one of my girlfriends called me out. She came over to my house. This was years ago. She came over to my house and she says, you've got a lot going on. I was like, really? And I got to looking around and I was like, I had a lot going on. I didn't have a consistent theme. I had things that I had a great chest that I had bought from a yard sale, but it didn't look right where it was. I had a couple different colors. I had one drapery and another drapery. Long story short, she was absolutely right. And after I got over being embarrassed and mortified, I sat back and I said, I asked myself that very same question. What do I want my space to look like? What colors make me feel good? How much space do I need? Do I need a little space, maybe just a couch and a table and a TV? Or do I need a couch, an end table, an ottoman? Do I need all of these things? What is it that really brings me joy? And if I'm going to spend good money on it, am I going to keep it for a while? Because you want to invest in quality things. How do you help people find ease in getting rid of stuff and bringing in more stuff? Because it's tough.
It is tough. And I think the issue sometimes is around they have sort of a lackful thinking around money. So they're holding things even though they don't like it. Or like I had a gentleman whose sofa was literally falling apart. And I said, don't you want to, have a nice sofa in your space where you can sit down and be comfortable? And when you have guests over, they're also comfortable. Oh, but I spent thus an amount of money on this sofa and I just don't want to let it go. So there's not a whole lot I can do with that if you are in a lackful mindset of, there's just not enough and I have to hold on to these things because there's not enough. That's sort of a mindset thing that people need to, first of all, they need to admit to themselves that they're kind of in that loop,
Mhm.
and then work on that, trying to change that mindset, of sort of, there's not enough.
Right, because it's not about the couch. Okay, it's not about the couch. It's again, it's the emotional attachment. Maybe that was the first time you was with your girlfriend on that couch or something. I don't know, but but those things are really what kind of keep us stuck.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
being trendy, you can you know change your space by just painting the walls.
Absolutely.
No, it doesn't cost a lot to do things. You can go out and find great things at the thrift store or at yard sales, and you're not spending a lot of money. I've found some great quality things, but take your time. Don't be a hoarder and don't be a junk collector. Have you ever run into a hoarder?
No, not a true hoarder.
I have, and it is, it's really, really heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
They can't get away from it. They always think that there's going to be a use for it. It could be a broken tire iron. Oh, well, that's still good. That's iron. We can melt that and turn it into something else.
Right. Yeah. I don't feel qualified to work with people at that, extent. I've watched the shows on TV, and there's definitely a psychological thing there that I, I don't feel qualified to, unless they're also working with a therapist while they're working with me.
Right, right. Well, because they are, and you're going to try to help them sort those things out. Now, you told me that you use Facebook Marketplace.
I do.
I see Facebook Marketplace, but I don't know how to utilize it. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can. So, yeah, so you can go onto Facebook Marketplace and sell items. Um, the first thing I should say about it is think of it as a garage sale online. So, if you have something that you think is really worth some money, it's probably not the best place to go to try to sell it. But it's more, like little um, items around your house, decorative items, or even furniture. Furniture usually goes pretty well. So you can go on there. It's pretty easy to follow. You just put in the price, you put in a description, and the more descriptive you can be, the better. If you know the brand of the item, and you definitely need to put the size of that in there. And then you can also connect your marketplace to local online garage sales in your area. So, for example, I'm connected with like 20 local area online yard sales. And so when I post something, it goes out to all those places. So lots and lots of people see it, which obviously gives you more, opportunity to find somebody to buy it.
But let me ask you something, in this world of crazy folks,
Mhm.
you know, how do you make the exchange? How do you get the product for the money? Are they, I would prefer to do something like a third party, a Venmo, a PayPal or something, do the money and then exchange the product. But then people don't want to give you the money until they actually see the product. What do you think is the safest place and way to do that in a public, shopping center or?
You can certainly meet people. That's an option in Facebook Marketplace. You can either say, you can come to my house, or we can meet somewhere. And if it's something small, you can send it. But, if you're doing it locally, and you want to be the most careful, I would say yes, go and meet someone. I've done that before, like in a Kroger shopping center parking lot. I've met someone and made the exchange there. I mostly just did that out of convenience, because I've never had an issue with.
Right.
Having.
Well, Sherry, you don't have an issue till you have an issue. And people are just different now. They're different now. And I always kind of look at things with a side eye, just for safety. But you can sell everything on there. You can sell cars and refrigerators, and I've seen
Yeah.
everything on there, from jewelry, all kind of great stuff. So
Yeah.
what is your secret sauce for success? How do you make people feel at ease when they work with you?
I think for me, first of all, I make sure that I am in a really good feeling place before I go to someone's home to work with them. I try to get myself in the highest vibrational place I can be, usually by listening to music on the way there in my car and like dancing, which some people look at me like, you're a crazy person.
Oh.
But it's fun. And the other thing is I try to just ask really good questions to get people thinking, because the hardest part of the process usually is for them to make decisions, like we're saying, because it's something sentimental or they paid a lot of money for it or whatever it might be. So I try to just ask them really good questions and not be judgy and not be forceful. I'm not that kind of person. I don't like telling people you should get rid of that. Those words never come out of my mouth. It's more just, what are you going to use that for? And when do you think you're going to use that? And I just try to get them thinking.
Well, when was the last time you used that?
When last time you used that? Why is it in the back corner of your cabinet? Like, are you really using that?
Right.
So,
You do. You like it. So do you also help people, you help them declutter, but do you help them redesign their space, bring these things back in and work with them on maybe your color palette of, how you might like things, what things really bring you joy? Do you like fresh flowers? I'm a fresh flower person. There's got to be fresh flowers in my house every week. That, that just really makes me happy.
I love that.
Certain smells, do people like, some smells, no smells? Do you go that, that detailed with them?
It's such a personal process. Yeah. Sometimes I go that deep with them. It's kind of depends on how far they want to go with me. So
Right.
yes, I know how to do that, and I can do that with people. I would love to have more opportunities to take a space, all the way through to designing it, helping someone design it, not me designing it, because that's not really what I want to do either. My goal is really to help you figure out what you want in your space. But that would be really, really fun to help somebody all the way through that process to even setting up their room and, the whole.
It's different. I just designed a new place that we got, and I took my time and I went online and I got all the colors and I said, looked at all the patterns, because my friend is never going to come to my house and say that to me again. No, ma'am. And I thought about it, and I thought about how much I spent on certain items. I go back to that because money is a motivator. It's like a dress, cost per wear. If I spend a couple $100s for a dress, you better believe I'm gonna wear that sucker 10 or 12 times in a row and change my accessories, because I'm getting cost per wear.
Sure.
But you have spaces that are joint spaces. You got to consider the spouse, you got to consider the kids, and going through all of those things. So when a person starts to declutter, what are some of the common sense steps that they should take? We'll take the emotion out of it, but just what should they do? Should they plan certain areas to be, to be sold, to be reused, to be recycled?
Right. Exactly. And can we put the emotion back in for just a minute?
Absolutely.
Because I think that one of the things that keeps people from getting started is this just feeling of overwhelm and dread and not knowing where to start. People are always telling me that's how they feel when I go to work with them. So from that place, it's very difficult to think about creating a new space if you're walk in and you're just all of a sudden overwhelmed and feeling stressed. So I would say before you even start, sort of like you were saying, take it slow. Just take a step back and go, this is the way the space looks now. I know I don't like it this way. I want to change it. What do I want? And start thinking about what you want. Start talking about it, maybe with a friend. Write things down. I want it to look like this. I want it to feel like this. I'm going to use this space for this particular thing. And really take some time to try to get yourself in a place where you're feeling excited about it and inspired about it instead of overwhelmed.
Right.
That's where I would go first. And then, yes, you have to do the process, which A piece of that is hopefully you're going to purge some stuff. A lot of times when I start working with people, they want to start buying bins. Let's go buy some bins. Well, that's not where you start, because you don't even know what you're putting in the bins yet. So let's start with your stuff and let's go through your stuff, figure out what you want, what you are going to be able to let go of. And often once we go through that process, there's plenty of space for us to store stuff that the items
Right.
they decide to keep, because they got rid of some of them.
And
So
getting rid of stuff, Brains, doesn't mean move it from the closet to the attic or to the garage. That means move it off the premises.
correct. And that could look like a lot of different things. Donations are great because people either need the items, or if you're even to Goodwill. I know some people have a problem with Goodwill. I don't really have a problem with
I
Goodwill.
don't either.
I feel like they're offering so many services, and people go to Goodwill to buy items to create things. They make something new out of it. So it's sort of a recycling, reuse thing. And anyway, I think they're great. And donating their process is seamless. You go, you drop it off, people come and help you take things out of your car. They give you a receipt, and they even have an online, you go online and you put the receipt information in. And at the end of the year, you print the paper out and give it to your tax person if you're going to use it as a tax write-off. It's just seamless and wonderful.
And they do a lot of good work with, overlooking underserved communities. They give them jobs.
Absolutely.
It gives them a sense of purpose. And if they upcharge, I didn't want it, Brains. That's what I'm saying. It's stuff I didn't want, so I don't care. But when I do a yard sale, I trick it out. Okay. So what I do is I get all the clothes, and maybe I'll put an outfit together. And I have a free cycle, a place where there's things that, give for free. It could be toys or a bicycle tire, I don't know, whatever it is. And then I will move to the appliance, have an all appliance area, have everything priced out, so people don't have to ask you, how much is this? How much is that? Start at a whatever price you want. You can always ratchet it down. I have a tool area, home furnishing, and people think that they're walking in like a little mini Target or something. I have it all nice for them. And I play a little music. I have some refreshments out there. I'm telling you, I had a yard sale. I made $850. I was like, wow, I wish I had more stuff. But when I don't sell it, I don't bring it back in the house. It goes right in the car, and it goes right out to the Goodwill or wherever. Tell us a little bit about your online program and how you set that up and what people can expect.
Okay, so I have a program that I do. I can do it in person or online. I try to keep it at about 2 hours. And what we do is via Zoom, you walk me around your house, and we pick like 2 or 3 areas where you think you might need some extra help. And I ask a lot of questions, and we talk about your space and how it's being used and how you would prefer for it to be used, what you want to do there. And then I write all that up in an email. And so we're sort of creating a plan for you. And during that time also, if we come across something, for example, we're in the attic and there's a bunch of boxes in there, and you say, I don't know what's in these boxes. So maybe in that moment we say, hey, why don't you just open one of those boxes while I'm on the phone with you or on the Zoom call with you, and let's just see what's in there. So you have an opportunity to open the box, because often the idea of the monster is bigger than the actuality of what it is, right?
Right.
So you look in the box and you go, oh yeah, these are my like high school pictures, or something, and you go, oh yeah, okay, I know what's there. Then we can figure out, okay, what are we going to do with this stuff? But at least you know what's in the boxes. So that's just an example of something.
It's not dear Uncle Jimmy's bones.
Let's hope not.
But so many people, I used to watch that. Well, there's 2 shows I watch. One is the storage people. they bid
Yeah.
to go in
Right.
these storage spaces, and they find all kind of great stuff. That seems like it's fun. I like that other show where they do the antiques.
Uh-huh.
Really realize if something is valuable, put it
True.
to the side. Always touch your stones. If you come across some stones, if they're cold, maybe they're real. That could be diamonds or rubies or emeralds. My girlfriend found a $3,000 emerald ring
Wow.
right before she was about to take it to the Goodwill.
Oh, wow.
So there's a
Great.
lot of treasure. Right. One man or woman's trash is another person's treasure.
Correct.
But you
Absolutely.
have to figure out, what it means to you, what the value is, and how important it is. Now, I know that everybody has a broad range, but to have a consultant to your magnitude and your level, what is the price range that, someone could expect to have someone to come in and help them facilitate this?
Right. So for the process that I was just explaining to you, which at the end you end up with a map of everything that you need to do, and I will even, do research for you about places that where who will come and pick up your stuff, or places where you can donate, especially if you have a particular charity that you would prefer to give to. I can do that research for you and let what's in your area that you can do. Um, that is $300 for that package. And then, once you've had an experience with me, this is like 2 or 3 areas of your house. So once you've had that experience with me, if you say, hey, I think I'd like to do that again with you, then we can talk further about, what might be next for you in your house if you have more work to be done.
Right, and that's very affordable because she's taking all of the guesswork out of it. And she's lending her expertise. She's done this with hundreds of homes, hundreds of people that,
Mhm.
don't even know where to begin.
Mhm.
They're overwhelmed. They're stressed
Yeah.
out because I'm telling you, during COVID, everybody was throwing away everything. And the bad part about it was that the trash people weren't collecting because they didn't want to collect it. But, beds, that's something that people do not want. A bed is very personalized. You have it in the garage and it's been sitting on its side. Now it's got a big lump in it. Or it might have been the kid's bed and it's got urine stains on it. Or
Yeah.
it might have been someone that wasn't, very sick, and people, are very superstitious. It's bad juju. So don't do things, like that. And to recycle is not to just give away your junk. Give away things of value. Someone, give a good home to something or to someone that they can really, really appreciate. So let's ask Cheri a few fun questions. Cheri, what are a few things that you absolutely can't live without?
That I can't live without.
Right.
Wow. Um, this is gonna sound weird. My car.
Okay.
I love my car, and it serves me in my business. Excuse me, but I manifested that car because it has everything I wanted. I wanted heated seats, and I wanted a good stereo, and I wanted it to be small enough that I could just like beep up around. I didn't want a huge SUV kind of thing. But it does have space in the back. I just love my car. I could go on and on about it.
I loved my car too. When the guy sold it to me, I was having a hot flash. And he goes, "Oh, ma'am, I have something for that." So I have a seat warmer, but I also have a seat cooler. And honey, when he put that thing on and we went around that corner and it just chilled my body, I said, "I'll take it."
Well, that's going to be on my list for the next time.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really, really nice. What's your favorite color?
I usually say yellow because I think it is, but it's so funny. My daughter always laughs at me because I don't want anything that's yellow. Like I don't wear yellow clothes. Nothing is yellow, but I don't know.
It's cheery, probably because of your personality. You look like a
I
very
guess.
cheerful person.
Thank you.
Yeah. What would you tell the person right now that's really struggling? I mean, really having a hard time stepping out of themselves and wanting to take this on? What would you say to them?
I would say don't rush into anything. Again, take a step back and just take a minute and think about what you want in your life, how you want your life to flow. I would even consider, I've told people this before, sometimes our calendars are also cluttered and overfull. And if you feel like you need some time to really delve into it, take some things off your calendar. You're not responsible for everybody else's world.
Bravo.
So take some time, take some stuff off, and take that time to really think about what you want to do.
Right, because you can overtax yourself and then you become resentful and angry. It's like volunteering with me. I used to volunteer for everything, and now what I do is I give them a block of hours. You
That's
have
a great,
you have 80 hours, a hard 80. You want me on the phone, you want me at the door, you want me to fundraise, whatever you want me to do. But after that 80, I'm a guest. I'm done. Because it turns out to be my project. It doesn't turn out to be your project. So there's not a lot of value in there.
right?
Um, what do you teach your children about clutter and stuff? Kids will have toys, half a puzzle, this, that, and the other. I think we should kind of incorporate this in their life at an early age. Then
Absolutely.
they move away to college and get their own place. And it's, cleanliness is next to godliness. What do we say to our kids?
Yeah, I love that. And I didn't do a great job of that when my kids were little. Somehow they're still pretty clean kids. But but I think they get this idea that the playing part is fun, but the putting the stuff away is not fun somehow. And I think the best thing we could do is to help them understand it's all one thing, and the putting it away part can be fun too. It's you're taking out whatever you need for whatever you're playing with, and when you're done you're putting it away. Or stuff, like my son had Legos everywhere.
Oh gosh, yeah.
If you're in the middle of creating something, that's okay. They're kids. They're in the middle of creating this Lego masterpiece. You don't want them to take it all apart and put everything away, because they're going to come back to it later and continue on.
Right.
But yeah. And so that's one thing. But, the other things that are laying around we had a playroom. So I'm visualizing this playroom in my mind. But yeah. So, but if you're doing a puzzle or playing a game, when you're done with the game, put everything away. It's just part of it, and it becomes a habit, and you don't
Right.
even think about it anymore.
Right.
It's
Right.
not
Don't
hard.
make it seem like a punishment or a chore.
Exactly. It's just a
It's
part.
exciting. Oh my God, when you put those Legos away, we're able to go in there and bake some cookies. So hurry up, and I'm so excited and put all the colors together. Make it an exciting opportunity. Nowadays millennials are really turning more into minimalists.
Yes.
They do not want the big house. They do not want the yard work. They don't want upstairs, downstairs. They want a tiny house in a little community and a little car. What do you think of that phenomenon? It's really changing.
I love it, because I think their focus is on experiences,
Right.
which I love that idea. Because when you do have the big house and the big car and all this stuff, it takes your time,
Mm.
because you have to maintain it and take care of it. Even if you're an organized person, it's still going to take your time, to take care of things. So the less you have, the more free time you have to create and to experience and to go on trips and all that stuff. I think it's awesome.
And another thing that's awesome is now how they're designing things to be storage containers. You
Yes.
look at places like, well, IKEA was on the cutting edge of that. But now you
Mhm.
go into other big retailers. I'm not going to name them because they're not paying us. But you'll go into there, and I mean, you'll be able to lift up major furniture stores. You're able to lift up that ottoman. You can put storage stuff in there. You have all these little baskets. But again, that's not to be filled with junk. It's to be filled with things that you really value. So when you're going to look for that dominoes or you're looking for that chess set, you know right where to go, and it's there, but it's hidden away from public view. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I love that. Even I'm sure you've seen too, the beds where you can like literally lift up the bed, and underneath the bed is all this storage space. It's
Mm.
just great. I love it. And I want to say something too, because I feel like as human beings, if there's an empty space, we feel like we need to fill it up with something.
Right.
And it's not true. If you have a dresser and you have an empty drawer in your dresser, let me just give you permission that is okay.
Right. Right. Absolutely. It is, because it just becomes a junk drawer. Oh, I'll
Correct.
stick that in there, and it just becomes a place for stuff. Well, you are the stuff. Absolutely. So tell my brains how to get in contact with you. I'd love for them to work with you, because not only are you organized, but you're fun and you got a great smile. You got a great sense of humor, and that's what you want. You want it light. You want to infuse that ease. You really
Absolutely.
do.
It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. Not just every once in a while, but all the time. It's supposed
Right.
to be. That's why we're here, in my opinion.
And
So
there's so many places you can look. You can start with your bookshelf. You know,
you can start small. Yeah.
right. I've got books here. I absolutely love them, but I've come to the realization that if I've read it once, am I really going to read it again? If it's signed, autographed, absolutely I will keep it. But
Sure.
if not, I'm going to put it in the hands of somebody else to enjoy that great literary work. So again, I started with my bookshelf. So how can they start with you, Cheri?
So the best way to reach me right now would be through my email. Should I just say that out loud?
Yeah,
Okay.
email.
It's Bartlett, Bartlett C 1718 at gmail.com. And you can follow me on Instagram at Clarity with Cheri. And my first name is spelled Cheri. So that's a little different.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And you can, I mean, if you have an urgency and you really want to get in touch with me quick, you can text me at 404
Nope.
99. Oh,
We'll
don't
cut
do that.
No, because
Okay.
girl, you get some crazies. They'll call you and they gonna want you to redesign something, but it's not gonna be their house, so we don't give them the phone number. I say that with love, brains. All y'all's not crazy, but there are a few. There are a few. But this is wonderful. This has been great information on an emotional level, as well as saving space, how to sell your items, how to use the marketplace, how to find value in your space, and to make it a place of your own with ease. Thank you so much, Cheri Bartlett. You are the business. I thank you so much, and I've learned so much from you today.
Thank you so much.
Okay, brains, clear up your clutter, clear up your junk, okay? Or give it to somebody else that could use it. Absolutely, but make sure that it's good, make sure that it's valuable, and remove the emotional intelligence, okay? Thank you so much for loving, liking, and sharing. What do I ask you to do? Love, like, share, and subscribe. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and show Cheri some love. Go in there, have a consultation, watch some of her videos, get some information from her, because we all have junk, one place or another. Thank you so much, Cheri Bartlett.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, brains.